Scattered about, and that's who I am. They call me Redhead, but I'm Sammy Sam. They said that I'm high. They said that I'm slow. They said I know many things, and I just don't know. So what I'm going to start with today, and there's so much, like I always go, is I don't know if you're going to be able to really see this. This is a crop circle, okay? The entire element of creation is the mud and double. Okay, it's not done well. Okay, it also shows a standing man. Okay, because I sort of outlined it a little bit. I made another one down below. Do you see the Magen David? It's small Magen Davids, and in the center, even creates a Magen David. Everything's a Magen David. You know, I believed in it, but it's like a fairy tale that I don't do anything purposely, and I show up with everything that relates, it connects, it's coincidence. But what kind of coincidence is it? What really makes sense from what I'm saying? If you look on this side, you can see the way the Magen Davids came out through the paper. They're all Magen Davids. That's a pyramid. Every position, everything we've done in our lives since day one, from coloring a coloring book to drawing to designing, whatever we have touched are by the hands of God. He has made every movement. How do you think I can see all the sequences and all the coincidences? Because He connected everything. And I just figured out a patterned way in order to go out and get it. Another thing what I wanted to show you is 2 ways to mark HIH. Okay, you see the one on the left? I condensed it because sometimes my designs are a little off. But this is condensed. It's an H, it's an I, and an H, okay? Because man is actually hung in the middle of the air. We're not actually in a heaven. I don't even know what a heaven looks like. I believe it's inside a planet that's hung in the air, okay, like the twisted eye on the right, okay? And I believe the planets, I'm not even going to look at my books, but this is the way I believe the planets work. I believe when there's a birth on Earth, they call the Father in heaven red, call the Father on Earth red. They call the Mother in heaven white, because we don't know what kind of baby she's going to come up with. And all babies are purity because they have no story. But there's a story because it's already existed up in the heavens now. So when the woman on the earth is down here, she's blue. So then God and blue get together, and they create purple. Purple is the mind horse, and horse racing, it's planet Pluto. So once that element of the egg inseminated gets into the planet Pluto, it divides. Half of it, of your DNA, goes over to Neptune, okay, planet 8, and half of your DNA, the other half, goes over to Earth. You become number 11 as one. Your connection is through Jupiter. That's how you communicate, through the moons. You see, the moons, okay, of Pluto transport your birth towards planet Earth. Jupiter also has the turquoise birth, okay, which I think is the angel. I don't want to mix up the two of them. And that's the Neptune birth, okay? And that color fits along with Neptune because Neptune is water, and that's sort of like an aqua color, turquoise, that fits in the water. What else was I talking about? Yes, the moons. So what happens now is we're always thinking, like, how come there's no moons on Mercury or Venus? Well, Mercury and Venus stand for the God Father and the God Mother. There are no moons there. That's what they stand for. That is the kingdom of God, okay? You don't go there. I could have had a Mercury, okay, driving down the street, but I didn't. I could have stayed all night by Venus, but she was out on the moon. But anyways, Venus, and anyway, the elements of Father and Mother, okay, of the elements that come from the sun onto the earth, can come out of Mercury and Venus and blow into Earth, because the first 4 planets are covered around the sun. Then there's another formation, and there's Pluto, and there's Jupiter, and then there's another formation, and it's the last 4 planets. We're set up in pairs, we're set up in 4s, when Noah took the animals onto the ark. Well, it's the same setup in our universe, 2 by 2. Okay. What happens when we die? Where does man go? Well, our death spirit goes to Pluto, and our death spirit is black because it tells the whole story. It's the black box on the plane that goes flying through the air. You want the black box because that has the whole story. So you go through Pluto, and our ear has the spirit, and Pluto's ears are black. So you know that's where the death spirit goes. And once you're finished going through Pluto, you're transferred, okay, because that's the birth station. You're transferred right away over to Saturn. You see, we no longer need the 3 rings in our life anymore after we take the spirit of heart, the spirit of the earth, okay, and the spirit of Beta out of the way. We now enter into a world which is as big or 100 times bigger than ours. They call the planet Saturn. The rings are on the outside of this planet. So anything that's on the inside is wireless now. The same way we have wireless here. Wireless here would not work without the system of matrix. It's the crisscrossing of matrix that creates your genes and creates all the linens we have. Well, this brings down all the energies, and whatever we do, we're using their transfer. If we didn't take the empty space as an element, then we would be missing the biggest element of all, the empty space. You blow up a balloon that's flat, okay? But imagine man. Blow up a balloon that looks like man, like a blow-up doll, a woman. Guys blow up dolls, women. What do you think we are? We're blow-ups. Okay, the DNA element, it knows the shape. It grows inside that shape. That's all. All the cracks are already there. It's all ready to go. No? We grow from the inside out, the outside in. Does it really make a difference? Okay, what am I going to get to next? That's what I do. I always find out something. See these dots? Okay, there are a total of, oh my God, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's a total of 49 dots. Okay, in this picture, okay, 16 dots, okay, are going in that in crossways of 2 points. Those 2 points are actually what goes around the neck of the talus. Okay, that's the part that connects the alpha, father, and mother, and grows you out of it. Half of you is your father, half is your mother, and that's why we're all so awkward. Okay, that takes up 16 dots. Now, if I use the same 16 dots to enter into Zion 64, I'll explain what that is. That's 1/4. Okay, it doesn't work in this equation, but it works in others. 1/4 means hearts. Hearts or earth, it's all the same thing. Okay, see the S at the end. The 1/4 is 64. The 1 suit is the heart suit of the deck of cards. 1/4 of 4 of spade, of diamond, and of club, in which they're all included in this. What I want to show you now, or maybe I'll just tell you that this is what happens. Father and mother have 4 kids. That's 1 complete dice. 4 sides, father on top, mother on the bottom, or vice versa. Okay, that's why they change sometimes. Now these 4 kids go out and have 2 kids each, making it 8. Now these 8 kids go out and have 2 kids each, okay, making it 16. But the minute you hit the first, okay, ideas, like the minute you hit the first 8, okay, which is the first 2 sessions, the 50 years, okay, 25 years, the 50 years to do 12. 50 years to do 12. Don't forget 50, okay? Every number, whatever I'm going to come up with, I can't start explaining it. I can never catch up to my work. So whatever number I mention, it all means something. So it took 50 years to get there, okay? Then it took, to get to 16, it took 75 years. To get to 64, okay, it took 100 years. It took 100 years to get to 64. That's 1 century of man, okay? Zion 64, okay, I never really figured out exactly how it works, because, you see, the 4 horse is yellow and the 6 horse is yellow. That means Mars, Saturn. That means the mother must be watching us right next door on Mars, the red planet, father planet, because it's red. Red's the father spirit. and Saturn because it's yellow. So we have to use both these planets now. Okay? In pool, the 1 and 9 are yellow. So I know if the 9 is yellow there and the 6 is yellow here, Pluto over to Saturn, they match. Coincidence or not, I put it together. Okay, now what I'm on to, okay, is Zion 64 is 1 dice. Okay, 100 years, 1 dice. Now we go 200 years, okay, 2 dice. Now we have Father Heaven, the Beta Heaven. Now, all we want to do is take 1/4. Like I said before, we're only 1/4. And slice it down the center like this. Okay, and put it between the 2 dice to connect them. That would be 25. So now you got 2 dice plus the 1/4 of man that fit in between to connect them together. You have 225 years. 225 years, and the year 5775, Jewish time, makes 6,000 years of God. Can I be any more precise on how it works out? It's not the only way. There's many ways. I don't always remember. I'm in and out, and I see one thing, and I'm on another page, and there's always something to do. And, you know, if you just say, "Hey, figure this out for me," I go, "Okay, boom, boom, bang." I figure it out. Although I will probably be off into the woods a little bit. So this is how it started. These are the first 225 years, okay, before the Jewish time must have started, okay? And at this, okay, there were only, now with the 2 dice, excuse me, I didn't mention this, but with the 2 dice, each one of 64, okay, I'm just going to write this down, it equals to 128 bit. In computer language, 64 and 64, 128-bit. Explorer 64, they made a movie, Man 6, 4 came to help. 4 is the opposite of 6 on the telephone. Anyways, 4/4, you got a buck. Multiply by 4 and divide by 25, you get the same thing. A 4 and 25, and 2 is the beta world of the 5 spirit of the red God, which is our God, which is the one we all want. So now, I'm trying to see. So now we got 128 bit. Now, how do you go from 128 bit and now raise the memory in the computer with those 2 dice of man? Well, if man is 125 of the 200, that would be 8 times the difference. Okay, but you have to multiply it, and by the time you finish dividing it, anyways, it doubles. It doubles every single time. So it'll go from 128 bit, because man is on Earth. Oh yes, because man in the heavens. Yes, excuse me, beta. Excuse me. I have to double with beta. She's alive. It's God's female side. Anyway, so that's why it goes by 2. Man and beta. The top part of the card. When you see the 6 hearts facing the top of the card, it's because it's man and beta. Anyways, so you now have 128-bit, 256, 512, and 1024. But where does it actually stop? Well, it has to stop every 6 levels and then change, because on the 6 dice, okay, there's if you know the 6 dice of the 6 card, there's only 6 places you can go from the center. Here, I designed this. You can see it. That's the 6 card. It's better on the dice. So anyway, where was I? Yeah. So, yeah, you only can go to 6 places, so that's why it stops, I think, to 1024, but I can probably figure out a system for it, because it always follows suit. It has to go in a certain pattern. What I want to see at last, Microsoft, okay, I've studied their designs, their names, Bill Gates, BG, God, Beta, his numbers and everything. Somewhere down the line, he's going to come back to help us. Because without us, if there's no money, nobody's making any money. And everything rocks, then everybody has no money. You know what I'm saying? Merry-go-round. Let's go on the merry-go-round. If the money don't go round, then it all dies out and everybody has nothing.